Pamela came home.
I'm filming the entry here.
Okay.
This is beautiful.
It's a beautiful place. I think the colors are gorgeous in the light. Give
Yes,
the
it
date.
is. I did.
What day is it? It's
28th.
28th of November.
Yeah.
Lakewood
7
Historical
o'clock,
Society.
actually.
7 o'clock.
Sure is a pretty place.
Go ahead, Mr. Announcer.
Mike can do it.
Lead into it.
Mike Wilson, world-renowned communications major. Okay, let's go in.
Oh, look, isn't that beautiful?
There you go.
No doorkeep here.
There he is, the prince.
My
Hi,
photographers.
Si. Okay.
My photographers.
Up here, I'll grab them. The other one is
What are you going to do with the pictures?
This is, we do this at every meeting.
Well, how come we never get to see the pictures?
Well, that's a good question.
What happens to them?
They're being archived.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm sure there is.
yes, in an antique house, you have to move it very gingerly.
Those are real candles. Okay.
Real yeah, I didn't realize that. Those are real candles in the windows.
Candles. I'm not going to.
Amazing. You see that? Real candles over there. Amazing. Would you expect anything less?
Never. Absolutely not. Do I need to move for you?
Wherever you want. Wherever you'd like to.
I'll stand over here so I'm not.
And certainly thanks to McNaughtons for letting us meet here tonight and tell our stories. She's got a Lulu on the Chinese cook who used to be here, but I don't know if she should tell it or not. I'd like the family to start introducing themselves, and maybe we'll pass this around. Audie, would you like to start since you have the largest number?
Sure. Hi. I'm mother was Judy Fraser. She was granddaughter of Henry Rhodes. And my family is with me. We're from Boston. I grew up in Lakewood, but I've lived in Boston for 25 years. My wife, Chris. My oldest son, Zach. My daughter, Elsbeth. And I have triplet boys here, James, Charles, and Sam. They're 7 years old.
Wow.
We'd like to? Roll? Yeah. I mean, I will if you want.
Yeah, I'm Henry Sandall, and my mother was Mrs. Rhodes' niece, came to live with the Rhodes when her parents died. She had 2 children, me and my brother, and I got 3 of my grandchildren here tonight. Get up. Their names are Connor, Spencer, and what's your name?
Okay. Well, let's get Catherine's family here.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Muller Renfro, and my mother and my sister's mother was Catherine Rhodes, who was the niece of Uncle Henry, and we were great nieces, and our grandfather was Charles, his brother.
The youngest of the Rhodes brothers.
And I'm Ann Muller Hunt, and as Nancy just said, we were Catherine Rhodes' daughters.
Now, some of us here are very interested in Muller Harkins. You realize that? Johnny wasn't in it as much as his brother, really. But that's one of our historic sites out there in the hangar. The hangar is still there.
And then Leo Harkins was the
Oh, yeah.
in with Muller Harkins. I'm Barbara Sandall, and my father forgot about me. Obviously, so overwhelmed by all this. And this is my father's wife, Ginger Sandall, and there are other relatives of Henry Rhodes here.
Somewhere here. Good. I'm McLean Brown, son of Alice Frazier, and my wife here is Cheryl Brown.
Janice, you're going to have to say something, because if it hadn't been for you, this wouldn't have happened.
Cy Happy called and said, "Do you know anything about it?" And I said, "Well, I know how to get a hold of the ones that do."
Don't be so modest. Who have we left out?
Oh, my husband. It's a family trait.
Anybody else? Anywhere? You?
No.
Well, I'd like to turn this over to Beth McNaughton now. She has been instrumental in bringing this house back a long, long ways. And in many ways, I think it is better than it was when the Rhodes were here. Really, I do. A few things I'd change, but...
Well, we bought the house about 9 years ago, and actually we've done a lot of things you don't normally see. So we had a lot of the roof done, or not roof, but the edges of it. They had big blocks, like 150 pounds, on the edges of the roof, you know, to, what do you call it, the edges, you know. And it was made out of the same, well, you know, the ends of the roof. And the rest was tile. But the ends were this stone. And the problem was is that it deteriorated. And so we had a roof guy come, and he literally lifted these up. They were on pegs, on steel triangles. I don't know how that stayed on there, with an earthquake or something. I mean, whatever. But anyway, we took them off, and we had the rounded edge tile come in, and he edged all that. We built a garage. We did the family room, which was the original garage. We haven't done that room yet. We did some of the ceilings. We haven't done this ceiling yet. You can see some of it needs to be redone. And we did the 3 apartments upstairs. We did those. And we have started, we did all 3 chimneys, which was a 2-summer project. Wow. I think you remember scaffolding. And he redid them and then lined them with copper. And the outside has copper gutters and copper gutters and downspouts. And so some of the edges along underneath the windows are looking bad, as is the kind of the front, the 2 entryway little pillars. And so we thought, well, how are we going to finish those off? What are we going to do? Because to take them out, I mean, I don't know how you would ever do that. So the one guy that did the chimneys, he's very good, and he did the roof edges. He said, well, let's get some copper and put it on top, you know, kind of cover it with copper, and then it will look like the gutters with a few years. And so we have done those window ledges on the outside, and these, and this one over here. We thought, okay, we're going to wait for 2 years and see what they look like. So it's been 2 years. So he's called me and he says, well, I'm ready to come back. I says, yeah, they're looking about right. So anyway, so we've done those kind of things. Some of them you can't see. The 2 guys that we bought it from are the ones that did most of the interior. You know, we've done the outside and the you know, the edges of the house, the interior edges, but not the, in the middle of the house. He started in the middle and kind of worked his way out, and he stopped after he got to some of the rooms on the outside and the upstairs. But when he bought it, those 2 guys bought it, it was 13 apartments. So you can imagine what kind of work he had to go about doing. Any questions?
How long did the 2 men who had it previous to you live
12
there?
years.
12 years.
Uh-huh.
And they bought it from
Sorry,
Jill
what was
Powell.
her? Yes, that was who it was. And she's the one that made it into apartments. Yeah.
Right. They were wonderful people.
Yes,
From
Craig
the point
still
of view-
comes over.
From the pardon?
Craig Broom still comes over. The one guy.
Oh,
one of the
I'm
guys
not talking
died.
about
Oh,
the ones.
the
I'm
Fowlers?
talking about the Fowlers.
Oh, okay, I don't know
I
them.
lived here 20 years ago, and they
Uh-huh.
were great buddies of, she was, Jill Powers,
Uh-huh.
great buddies of my children.
You made great home brew down in the cellar.
Yeah. The only sad thing is that the house was, you know, cut up so
Yes,
much.
Right.
And that's the only thing.
Virginia Falls was a wonderful character, a large woman who always wore a muumuu. And she adopted Jill, this little girl, and actually she was babysitting for Jill to help out a family that she knew, and she loved Jill so much she decided never to give her back. And she didn't.
Beth, this is Janet McDonald, who
Hi.
was the previous owner before Masters.
Oh, okay.
Carriage house.
Yeah.
Right.
Pat, you're from Pat.
So Jill must have sold the house too.